So let's talk about the rollout itself. I think they kind of rushed this. I think that there was a delay with the A5X2, which was a bummer to all of us. I think that the good thing about RADA is they contemplate what they're trying to do. They think through the use cases, they think through their user base, and they try to not rush things to market. There was a delay with the A6X2 for the same reason. There was a delay in getting out some of these desktop apps initially. iOS and Mac didn't launch the same time as Android and Windows did. So I think they were really, in this position where they had been very purposeful in rolling things out at a pace that made sense from a user perspective. And then all of a sudden, they delayed the A5X2. They took a lot of heat from that in the community. Then Boox came out with the Go 10.3. I think Boox, from a marketing and since they are already saturating the market with devices, from that business savvy perspective, were brilliant in launching the Go 10.3 when they did, because you had a lull. Remarkable has nothing new on the market. Big Me's directly competing with Boox, but they're going all in against the main series of book tabs. Supernote delayed the release of their newest tablet. In comes Boox and says, "Wow, we can like throw something in here." And I'm not saying they didn't have purposeful design behind it. I'm just saying that as a timing perspective, it was brilliant. I'll stand behind that. That put pressure on RADA to release something and to throw something out there that they really wanted to have on the market. And they had done quite a bit of development on the uh, on the desktop app when it came to Windows and mobile, and they'd had it in beta for a while. I think they just released it too early. I mean, they didn't beta test the Mac or iOS versions at all that I know of. Now, I could be wrong on that, but I remember they were very clear about putting the other two out there. I think it was a timing thing. And I think it was sad in some ways for RADA because they did something they don't do, which is rush. And so I think that's a real problem for them. But they handled it well. They engaged Reddit, they engaged Facebook, they engaged their user base, their beta community. I don't know if they reached out to their iOS beta testers, whether they have a separated list for that. I would assume they do, but maybe not. And if they didn't, they probably should have, to kind of, pull back and say, okay, what do we do? How do we fix this? From the iOS and Mac side, because I heard all kinds of stories. I'm not a Mac user. I would be interested to hear what Brandon Boswell has to say on this if he tested out the Supernote apps on iOS and Mac to see what that issue was. But I think they went ahead, they threw it all out there, and they said, okay, let's do this. And then they had to do damage control. In my case, it took 10 days, and those were frustrating days. And I'll be honest, as a Supernote user and a longtime Supernote user, they were probably the most frustrating days I've ever had in the 3 years of owning the device. But at the same time, the fact that they were willing, with that huge time change, to be working with me when they should already be in bed, or when it was 10 o'clock at night here in the US and I was doing something and I saw some strange behavior and I'd send off a message and they'd immediately reply through Reddit. That's pretty cool. It's a testament to how they do business.